I live, eat, and breathe science. I don't think anyone else is in love with science as much as I am. I am Devansh, and I've always been an avid enthusiast of science and technology. From a young age, I was in awe of the power science possessed to change the lives of millions of people around the world. This very fascination led me to pursue my career in science. A few months ago, I contemplated about the ill effects of science and technology, and I was rather pessimistic after seeing the way technology was being used by us. In fact, I had gradually started to lose faith in science itself. The science I was familiar with that improves the lives of people was nowhere to be seen because there seemed to be no distinguishing factor as to what was beneficial or destructive to the world we live in. In the midst of all this negativity, dullness, and pondering, I stumbled across an article in a local newspaper which gives me a sense that not all hope was lost. This article was an account of the scientific genius of Bipin Kadam, a machinist by profession residing in a single-room tenement in Bethoda, Ponda. He had built a fully functional robot called the Ma robot to feed and care for his daughter, who is a child with cerebral palsy. This story shook my conscience and touched my heart, so much so that I felt the need to personally go and meet Mr. Kadam to listen to his story, ask him a few questions, and get a glimpse into the thought processes and ideals behind the brain of a self-taught inventor. Why did you feel the need to make a robot for your daughter?
हांव चिंतले बरेच फावटी कितें जातालें आमकां टायम नाशिल्लो तेका भरोवपाक तर तेका आनी दुसरें कशें आशिल्लें आमकां कितें जालें आमी आजारी बीन पडले जाल्यार तेका भरयतलो कोण ह्यो प्रश्न आशिल्लो आनी आमी समजा अशी धरून चलया आमी ह्या जगात ना जाल्यार तेका कोण पळयतले कितें तरी करपा जाय तेच्या खातीर आनी अशे बरीच भुरगीं आसा ह्या जगात की तांकां अशें भरोवपा पडटा अशे बरेच लोक आसा मग त्यांच्या खातीर कितें तरी करपाचें आपल्या भुरग्या खातीरय जालें आनी तेंच्याय खातीर जालें ह्या अनुषंगान हांवें ते ह्या रोबोटचे हे चिंतले हांवें.
How did you start to make the robot?
तसो हांव पळोवपाक गेला हांव 10th पास आसा ओन्ली 10th पास आनी पण हांव एक मेहनती माणूस आहा 12 वर म्हाका काम करपा पडटा पण म्हाका म्हाज्या चेडवा खातीर म्हाका कितें तरी करपाचें आशिल्लें तर हांवें कोडिंग शिकलो म्हाका डिझायन थोडी फार येताली ते डिझायन येताली कोडिंग शिकलो आनी ह्यो रोबोट बनवपाची एक हे बरंच ट्राय केली बाबा हे त्याच्या खातीर हांवें वेगवेगळे सॉफ्टवेअर शिकलो आनी मागीर ह्यो रोबोट बनयलो म्हाका ह्यो रोबोट बनवपाच्या खातीर एक 4 म्हयने म्हाका एक हे करपा पडले कष्ट करपा पडले हांव 12 वर काम जाल्यार रात्री अर्दो वर 1 वर 2 वर अशें करून करून तो रोबोट 4 म्हयन्यात हांवें कंप्लीट केलो.
Would you be able to do what you have done now without today's technologies?
म्हाका दिसना की अशी आता जर नेट नाशिल्ले तर हांव कांयच करपाक शकलो नाशिल्लो ही टेक्नॉलॉजी नाशिल्ली तर कांयच करपाक नाशिल्लो अशें म्हाका आतां दिसना की म्हटल्यार ते आतां जी हे आतां जे आतांचे जे विज्ञान युग आहा ते मनशाच्या खूब फायदेशीर आहा आतां ते टेक्नॉलॉजी नाशिल्ली तर हांव कांयच करपाक शकलो नासतालो अशें एकंदर दिसता म्हाका. आमकां जी अवेलेबल आजच्या युगात आम्ही जन्म घेतलो ज्या युगात ते इंटरनेट युग आहा बरेच वर्षापूर्वी हे असे कांयच नाशिल्ले कोणाक खबर नाशिल्ले की बाबा एखादे कला घेवपाची म्हणजे खूप त्याच्याकडे जाऊन गुरुकडे बसपा पडटाले खूप वर्षा जाताली आता असे आहा की बटन दाबले जाल्यार नॉलेज मिळता बाबा पण ती करपाची इच्छा जाय.
Meeting Mr. Kadam was a sigh of relief for my perplexed mind. His views raised my spirits and got me excited about this unheeded side of technological advancements where science was used to make our lives better. The likes of Nikola Tesla and Graham Bell had solved real-life problems using scientific principles, and Mr. Kadam reminded me that innovation will never stop but evolve into solving more modern-day problems as technology democratizes learning and makes it accessible to everyone through the internet. So I set out on a personal journey to look at science and technology from a varied perspective, which might as well help me restore my belief in science. When we hear the word CEO, we have a particular image of the person in our head, but breaking all these stereotypes is the CEO of a software development company called Capslock.in, Ankur Kankonkar, who is 100% visually impaired. So I got in touch with Ankur and traveled to Margaon to find out how he codes, manages a firm, and uses technology to highlight his abilities over his disabilities. Are there any apps and devices that you feel that other visually impaired people should be aware about?
So the most important one is the screen reader. So right now I use this software called NVDA, Non-Visual Desktop Assistant, which is a free and open source screen reader. Basically, I can do anything that a normal person can do except for maybe some sort of graphics and stuff like that. But I use it in my daily life to browse the internet, to do coding and to do all kinds of documents and everything. So basically the most important one is the screen reader for me.
How hard is it to use these technologies and how long did you take to learn it?
So it depends on the technology, but for a screen reader I would say anywhere between 6 months to a year to actually master things. I've been using it for the last 11 years now, so I am an absolute, I've got mastery over this technology, so I use it for like advanced stuff, including coding and a lot of other programs.
The internet has provided us a platform where you are judged by your abilities and not by your disabilities. What are your thoughts on this concept?
So look, internet really is a tool in terms of anonymity and in terms of highlighting your capabilities rather than disabilities. Definitely is a massive tool. Let me share something with you. A few of my clients do not know that I'm visually impaired because we've never met in person, and a lot of my meetings happen online, right? So it's a massive platform, so you don't have to tell someone that you cannot see, right? As long as the work gets done, or as long as you are capable of delivering whatever someone asks of you.
So Ankur, you being a developer and CEO yourself, do you feel that other developers and CEOs should keep in mind accessibility when making their products?
So in terms of accessibility, look, accessibility is a massive topic, right? Although it's not such a massive thing here in India, but in Europe, in America, there are these standards which companies have to follow when they do any kind of software. These are called Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, WCAG. And there are various levels like A, AA and AAA standards which every website or an app has to follow. Otherwise, the company that makes the software can even be sued. So what I would like people to take into consideration that, although it's hard to imagine people with disabilities, multiple kinds of disabilities, like not just even sight and deaf and people who are deaf and dumb, or people with physical impairment. It's difficult to imagine these people using technologies, but let me tell you, there are thousands, if not millions, of people in the world who are using these kind of applications with assistive technologies. When I say assistive, that means screen readers and magnifiers and all kinds of other tools. So it's very important to take these things into consideration, considering, is a massive population which has some kind of impairment.
What excites you the most about science and technology?
Okay, so in terms of science and technology, look, my life would not have been the same without the advancements in science and technology. So I'm really excited about, the advancements that are happening at the pace that things are happening, right? See, things like virtual reality, augmented reality, stuff like artificial intelligence and cloud computing, things which were not really accessible in the past are becoming accessible now. For example, I could not read images with my screen reader earlier, but with advancements in AI and computer vision and stuff, today I can even read images up to a basic sort of description from images we can get today. So I'm really excited about all the advancements that are happening, especially in AI and computer vision, because I am a massive fan of AI. I want to do something in AI as well.
Would you be able to live the life that you're living now without today's technology?
In one word, no, definitely not. Because, as I've told you, science, technology absolutely has changed my life. I cannot imagine what my life would have been without a computer, without the screen reader, without the internet, for example. I would be still at home, maybe, in my bed, not knowing what things are happening outside. The moment you embrace technology, your life is definitely going to change, This is the 21st century. We are not in the, era of braille anymore. It's the era of talking phones and talking computers and, a technology that not only enables a person like me who has got no sight to use a computer, but people with all kinds of disabilities, irrespective of whether it's impairment with your hearing, or with your limbs, or with your speech, any kind of impairment. Without technology, I think today it is very, very difficult to survive. I can't even imagine how people used to do without this technology long time back. They had to deal with all kinds of stigma, all kinds of injustice. But today with technology, I think my life has definitely changed a lot, and I'm pretty sure that many people would agree with this, that without technology, I think they would still be stuck in medieval times and in the Stone Age, where people with impairment were treated like a curse. But today, I think with technology, our lives has not only improved for the better, but I think this would improve everybody else's life and change their perspective on not just disability, but in terms of life in general.
I felt alleviated after listening to what Ankur had to say about technology, especially his take on how it helped change his life and the lives of other people with disabilities. Modern digital technologies have not only increased but also elevated the possibility for creative self-expression. Tanya Fernandez, a freelancer who against all odds makes use of such devices to create, edit and share her very own digital artwork through visual manipulation softwares. Do you think that science and technology has changed your life?
Yes, science and technology has helped my life a lot. Because of technology, I've been able to push myself through my limitations, and before technology, I was like a noob. So now after technology, it's kind of a smart version of myself. Well, I work from home, as you can see, so to get in contact with people was through technology itself, like through emails and through phone calls and all that stuff.
How different was life before technology?
Yeah, I can say I did enjoy my childhood before technology also, with a lot of other things. But technology, as you see, is much more faster and great nowadays, so it is important also.
Do you think that over the years, science and technology has changed the lives of people with disabilities?
Technology has changed the lives of people with disabilities because there are with new updated softwares and everything that we get to use, like to read, listen, type and communicate. Like video call, you can even send a voice note, those who cannot type or stuff.
How did you learn photo and video editing?
I actually had a tutor who used to come at home to teach from MICE, and then after that it was a 6 months course, but I completed it in 3 months. So yeah, then after that gradually I learned everything on my own, watching for tutorials online.
Does the internet allow you to put your best foot forward when it comes to your work?
Yes, if you really want to learn something, if you have the passion to learn it, you can just find anything you want on the internet and watch and learn. Like from anything, editing or baking, cooking and everything, you see, you can just learn from there.
Has social media changed your life?
Social media has helped a lot actually, because I am connected almost like worldwide also, or some of them are like from here also, most of them are from here.
Would you be able to live the same life that you are living now without technology?
It wouldn't have been the same because Like before, I used to not have a powered wheelchair, so now I have a powered wheelchair. That's a revolution. The power wheelchair has actually given me a lot of help. It makes me feel independent, and I can do things that I wouldn't be able to do if I was sitting on a normal wheelchair, like just the manual wheelchair. So with this, I can even just go out on my own. And we wouldn't have been able to communicate the way we communicate now with people. Ever since even COVID, you see, we were all stuck in our homes, so we were like communicating through the phone and video calls and all that stuff, connecting and staying connected to people and everyone. So technology or science has helped.
Tanya's determination and perseverance in learning a craft using advanced technological devices, even though it is rather difficult for her, helped me see touchscreen devices in a new light. While listening to some retro Konkani music, I remembered attending a musical play by Augustine Fernandes, a paraplegic musician who against all odds has traversed all around South Goa to teach music to his students. His modes of transport include a four-wheeler and a bike with modified mechanics which make traveling more convenient and easy for him, which would not be possible without the development of science and technology. He told me his bike had given him the freedom to travel wherever he wanted to, and he could do whatever he had dreamt of doing. Being a mechanical engineer, I was proud to see the potential that custom improvised mechanics possessed. Augustine's vehicles are redesigned taking into consideration his physical impairment, which shows that science, despite being this universal body of knowledge with countless negatives and positives, is solely dependent on the way it is applied on the fundamental level. I've heard many unconventional stories about the practical applications of science over the years. But when I heard about the story of a 100% visually impaired man who, despite living in a remote rural village, teaches the fundamentals of computer hardware and software to visually impaired students across the country, I felt an innate feeling of warmth and respect towards this man and the way he has been using technology for the spread of knowledge and information. I travelled to the lush green village of Keri, nestled in the Western Ghats, to hear his story. How different was life before technology?
When I was not using this much technology, that time I was zero. Because I was using keypad mobile and I was by hearting that numbers. If I had to call my elder sister, younger sister, that time I had to by heart their numbers. Means how many numbers I can by heart? Approximately 20 to 25. But if I have to call different my friends, they are changing day by day their different their numbers also. How I can by heart? That is so difficult for me. We are teaching here throughout the country these visually impaired students. Now, due to internet connectivity, this is possible. Now, I am using Microsoft Teams app also, and I am using Zoom app also to teach visually impaired. Sometimes Google Meet also I am using because depend upon the candidates' network connectivity. I was sitting at home that time, so some people from our village only they are hating me. What is his use of life? Why is now still here alive like that? And when I got a job that time, they got surprised and they are asking me how you are came out from all the challenges like that. And now by staying at home, I am teaching to the visually impaired students throughout from the entire India. Now that is your task now. You have to create 2 more folders, second year and third year in the Cotton College folder, and you have to create 4 files, 1 Notepad, 1 Excel, 1 Microsoft Word and 1 PowerPoint.
How important is it to teach the visually impaired about technology?
Yeah, it is a very important question you ask me. That because if visually impaired don't know the technology, then visually impaired is like a zero, because I know I was a zero for 19 years because I don't know that time anything. And when I learned so many things, that time I got confidence. I can do individually anything. I can do. I can help to others. I can help to sighted people also. That much confidence I got.
Do you think that over the years, technology has changed the lives of the visually impaired?
Now who are using assistive aids and assistive technology, they are now, I think so, 90% they are independent, as per my opinion, because I got this much tremendous change due to this assistive aids and assistive technology. Because even I have a smart cane, I can go using smart cane. I can go in the traffic also. It will help me like that. And this talkback is there, means I can do any call. I can do in my mobile recharge, and I can do my any task in my mobile. I can help to others also.
On. Next language. Space.
When you were in Bangalore, how were you traveling about, going from one place to the other?
म्हाका खंय सपोज वचपा जाय म्हणजे ऑफिसांतल्यान म्हाका खंयचे दुसरे स्टेटीक धाडला सपोज ट्रेनिंग दिवपाक भुरग्यांक फॉर एग्जाम्पल हितून मध्य प्रदेश जाल्यार हांव म्हाज्या कडेन लगेज बॅग आसता ऑफिसाचे थोडे टूल्स आसता म्हणजे ते टॅक्टायल डायग्राम आनी कितें कितें म्हाजी लगेज बॅग आसता लॅपटॉप आसता त्या खातीर हांव रॅपिडो करून वता म्हटल्यार ते लगेज सांबाळपाक प्रॉब्लम जाता म्हणून हांव उबर करता उबर किंवा ओला तेन्ना हांव मोबायला वयल्यान ते उबर ओला हे करता बूक करता.
After the arrival of cashless technologies, cashless payments, how has it helped you?
हय हांव गुगल आतां मोबायल रिचार्ज करपाक रिटेलर कडेन वचपाची गरज पडना म्हाजो हांव स्वता करता. कोणाकय सपोज आतां फ्रेंडली कोणय सपोज मागता थोडे कॅश थोडो एमावंट मागता ताका हेल्प बीन जाय जाल्यार हांव ट्रान्सफर करता गुगल पे वयल्यान.
Rama's story and his way of living as a visually impaired teacher proved to me that the use of technology is solely restricted to our thought processes and how we as intellectual beings decide what is good or bad for ourselves and for others. I was also reassured to see that technological advancements are giving rise to devices like the smart cane, which scans a visually impaired person's surroundings and allows them to navigate faster and be more mobile. I had now scheduled a video call with Prasad Joshi, the founder and general secretary of the Goa Association of the Deaf. Hey Prasad, what technologies do you use in your daily life?
Technology. Video call is the most important. VIDEOCALL. Important is the webcam facility. WEBCAM. Very important for full and clear understanding. If there's no webcam facility, then we do text, but it is not a quality communication. It becomes a problem. It becomes difficult. So through video calling, one can sign easily and fast. So technology is very important in a big way. For example, India or the world, okay, we can share information through video call. Not only within Goa, but I can connect to a friend from America through video call. Thanks to this technology for making it possible, a communication from America to Goa. Similarly, one can connect to to a person from different countries through the use of technology.
What are the apps that you use on a daily basis?
Apps that have video calling facilities, then there is Facebook, then Instagram, and apps that are made for traveling purpose, like the Google Map. They are very helpful. Earlier, we were dependent on others to reach our destination and were easily misguided. And now we are independent. We can use this app and reach our destination independently. So there's a lot of use of these apps. If these apps weren't there, I think there would have been a lot of hurdle. For example, again, we would have been dependent on others to know the correct route for reaching our destination. So now we are independent. So technology has helped us in a very big way. Plus, we have news on YouTube, posts on Facebook and Instagram. These have helped us to upgrade our knowledge and life. And if these weren't there, life would have been difficult. So, technology has really helped us in a big way.
How was your life before the introduction of technology, and how has it changed now?
Earlier, there was no technology. I know, it's true. But the deaf also wouldn't meet at all. The only place they would meet was at their own deaf schools. In Goa or in Mumbai or any part of India, there were no deaf gatherings or deaf events. There was no technology at that time. There were a lot of struggles at that time. One problem, for example, was at the railway station. We would not get updates about the delay in train or cancellation of the trains. It was a big hurdle at that time. Even at the station, there was no visual access to any information regarding train cancellation or train delay. It was a big loss for us, waste of time. At that time, it was a big problem. But now, the technology, a big thank you to it. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have YouTube. This has made our life much better and improved our life. It has given access to information regarding the train timings. A lot of time is saved. We are on par with the hearing. Plus, it is updating us about the work of ISLRTC.
Would you be able to live the same life that you are living now without today's technologies?
Maybe 10% fortunately life would be good. And this 10% I say because of the family backup and their guidance. So if family guidance is there, life will definitely be easy. But if technology is not there and there is no family guidance, then life will definitely be a struggle and suffering. There wouldn't have been any kind of communication like video calling or texting, no access to information. I was born in 1987, so at that time there was no much understanding. And now if I compare, for example, now I'm around 30 years of age, and the older deaf at that time, they could not understand. Now the deaf youth of around 20 to 30 years of age, and considering the older deaf of 60, 70 or 80 years old, communicating with them is very difficult because they did not have access, they did not have any kind of awareness at their time. The literacy level was not much, and it is still the same with them. When I, as a deaf, go to communicate with them, they cannot understand me because their background and experience is totally different being deaf. Now, technology has helped me tremendously. If technology wasn't there, there would have been a lot of struggle. And the 10% which I say is because of the family guidance. But I would be dependent on my family more. So if there was no family guidance, life would have been a more struggle. Life would still continue, but there wouldn't have been socialization like meeting friends, nothing. A short hi and bye. And the whole day would have been a long wait with no enthusiasm. So when I see back, I really feel sad, but at the same time, I'm fortunate to be born in a generation where technology is used.
Prasad demonstrates immense confidence and is certainly a role model for aspiring leaders from the deaf community. His story has immensely inspired me, and I'm glad to have interacted with him. As a kid, robotics and the way pieces of metal could be programmed and automated to follow instructions was something that truly fascinated me, and the subject of study was so close to me that I ended up pursuing mechanical engineering for my bachelor's degree. Nympha Fernandez is a like-minded teenager who is into robotics and coding. Why do you want to be an app developer?
Actually, I did not know, I wonder how these apps worked, and I never asked also anyone how these apps worked and how was Then one day my mama told that her colleague's son completed his coding. Then I was curious to know what is this coding and what is that sort of. So I started researching, making research online.
What excites you about technology and science?
Actually, excitement, the word itself comes to my mind, something new, kuch naya. When I hear this word kuch naya, I am like, wow, what will I get to learn something new? So this craze gave me an approach to technology. People, when I was small, I saw many of my friends using mobiles, and I was like, wow, yaar, something new. So this itself gave an approach to me towards technology.
Has life changed for you with the introduction of new technologies?
Yes, if technology was not there, then I don't think so that what am I today, I would have not been. Because there are many, our imagination itself takes us to technology. Whatever we imagine today comes true tomorrow, and which is only because of technology.
Being a child of the 21st century and having access to the internet and being excited about technology, do you feel lucky to be part of this generation?
Me being a part of 21st century, I can access all those things on my own, and I am very independent, meaning the jobs online, the courses online, study material online, all those things which the before generation could do offline, they had to struggle. But now is that I have no more struggling and no more going out, coming in, all that stuff. I can do all of my things online, and I hope the future should also continue, and those things which I have today should be improved in the future.
Nympha has my utmost respect. She's like a shadow of my past, an enthusiastic teenager learning robotics and coding. The only difference is that she's 100% visually impaired. Being so technologically adept despite being young is certainly no joke. Youth like her, who are genuinely interested in practical applications of science, are a beacon of hope for a brighter future. Technologies such as 3D printing are at the forefront of modern mechanical engineering. Prosthetics and physical aids for the differently abled resulting out of 3D printing have the potential to completely change the lives of the specially abled within a matter of hours. Mr. Vaibhav, the founder and owner of a bustling mechanical engineering hub, Makers Asylum, is a mechanical engineer and inventor who is looking forward to the rise of affordable and accessible 3D printed prosthetics. What does Makers Asylum do to make the lives of the differently abled better?
So, since a very long time, Makers Asylum has been working with various organizations and hosting various programs. In specific, we host this one program called STEAM Fabricarium, which brings together a lot of differently abled people from different walks of life, whether they're blind, whether they're handicapped, or have a hand prosthetics or leg prosthetics, and they're able to use the lab with all these tools like 3D printers, laser cutters, electronics, and be able to not just get a prosthetic hand for themselves, but actually build one for themselves and customize it just as to what they need it for. And that's, I think, where a makerspace really comes in handy.
Could you tell us more about your designs?
Yeah, so this is actually one of my favorites. This is something that came out of the STEAM Fabricarium program, and it won a bunch of awards as well. The exciting thing about this hand is that usually, depending on where the hand is cut for a hand amputee, whether it's over here or at the back, you require a different sort of a frame or structure that is required for the prosthetic. And this part can be easily fabricated using basic tools at the asylum, but you're able to you need to cast this perfectly to shape basis on where the hand is cut and exactly the structure of the hand, so it's comfortable. But then on top of it, there is a beautiful 3D printed socket-based structure that we have over here. So these parts are 3D printed. And what's exciting is that this is fitted directly to the arm, which is now being used by the differently able person. So this is the ham prosthetic. And this part can be printed using any other 3D printer, and they can design it to their specification. So for example, right now, this part, if I attach this becomes a phone holder. Now I can change this and attach another one, which is maybe a table tennis racket or a laser light or anything. So this specifically was designed for Mahen. Mahen is in Bombay. So Mahen lost his hand during the Mumbai bomb blast, and he was one of the victims of that. He came to the asylum, and he's a super enthusiast when it comes to riding motorbikes. And he wanted to build a hand which he could not only ride and control his motorbike with, but also hold his phone and talk on the phone just like this. So he can use his other hand to be able to talk on the phone, or attach a laser light to it so he can point to different things. So that's where the thought of this customizable hand came, and then we were able to put it together and easily 3D print it to his need. And then just like that, you're able to add a different attachment over here and change its purpose.
Do you think that 3D printing will make the lives of the differently abled better?
Yeah, so I think especially for people with disabilities or differently abled community, 3D printing is a very, very interesting or very important revolution rather, because when you look at somebody who's lost their hand, it needs to be customized to their body and fit. Now 3D printing is something which is very easily customizable. You can easily just make the parameters, change them on the computer, and get the right hand with the right fit for the right person within just a matter of hours or maybe a maximum of 1 day, compared to if you look at any other traditional manufacturing process. Like if I were to look at CNC milling or machining, it would take many, many days to be able to create that hand, and it'll be more expensive as well. Plus, if I look at for plastics, injection molding. Now, if you look at injection molding, yes, I'm able to reduce the cost, but it's the same exact piece for millions of units. So it does not make sense for something like prosthetics, because for prosthetics, you want something which is customizable, and you need bespoke designs for the person's body. And that's possible with 3D printing in a very, very exciting way.
What do you think is the future of these technologies?
So, like I said, when it comes to 3D printing and electronics and robotics, the way it's growing, I think currently we see, or the world sees, being differently abled as something of a loss, that I've lost my hand. But I think what is happening already, I have this friend Nico, he's in France. He's using his disability of not having his arm to be able to create so many other more advanced arms for himself and exoskeletons for himself. That's not just making him a normal human being, but rather making him a superhuman being and giving him abilities that most of us don't. So I think that technology is going to enable a lot of the differently abled community to not just look at themselves as the fact that I've lost a hand, but rather seeing it as an opportunity to be able to create something that is more depicting of what they need and what they want to do. So rather enabling to do much more with the technology and the requirements. And I think there's going to be a beautiful balance that I see over there, more exciting arms coming out, more exciting exoskeletons coming out, giving them the ability to be able to transform objects, create things, and adapt to environments that maybe temporarily abled people like you and me can't.
Vaibhav's insights on science and technology, specifically the processes and science behind this hub's 3D printed prosthetics, are absolutely brilliant. I am now at the end of my journey, and I've got to say, it's truly been a soulful experience. Through this journey, I've met some beautiful human beings, seen some marvelous applications of science, and fallen in love with science all over again. People who were once neglected by society are now beacons of hope for thousands of others like them. Their stories have had a deep impact on the way I look at technology, and it will also shape the way I develop technology in the future. Science is truly a tool of empowerment for everyone, no matter what their socioeconomic backgrounds, disabilities, or geographic locations are. It has provided an equal platform and helped change the lives of millions of people across the world.